Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Demelza's Delights. My middle name is Demelza and it is always a delight to be vegan. I'm going to be showing you this makeup look today and it's a very chatty one. I answer a few questions that were submitted via Instagram. I'm using the new Anika Day to Night eyeshadow palette. Everything mentioned in the video is 100% cruelty free and vegan, of course. I try out two different lip colours with this makeup look and I talk about a few different life things. Check out this palette, it's beautiful. Organic, cruelty free, vegan, what more could a girl want? Let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do it. I'm going to start today by using the Blessing Serum by Antipodes. This is their newest one. I attended their brunch at the Ivy Studios. Oh, it was beautiful. I was very lucky to be there. Oh, this serum is delicious. Really beautiful, fast drying, so it doesn't feel extremely oily on the face at all. I have combo to oily skin and I don't shy away from using oils or serums because there's a reason why people put them out. They actually are beautiful on the skin. If anything, oils and serums have sorted out my spots instead of creating more, which is what I think we all think that oils will do. I also really love a dewy look, so this is why I am starting with a beautiful face serum, and this new Blessing Serum by Antipodes will be linked in the description box down below for you. I'm going to be using the new brush set by Designer Brands. These are all vegan and cruelty free brushes. This set here is called, this is their latest set, it's called the Melodrama 10-piece brush set, and I will pop a link in the description box as always. Purple is my favourite colour, so immediately I am in love with these brushes, but I also noticed that they are very soft and I think the quality of the handles is a lot better than the last couple of sets that they have put out. With their dual-ended brow brush that comes in the set, I'm going to use the Designer Brands Brow Pomade in colour Hickory just to fill in my brows. On the Designer Brands liner brush, I'm going to use some concealer just to shape the brows. And then I like to use the Wet n Wild Mega Clear Brow and Lash Mascara, and I like to set my brows in place. There's not much difference at the moment between my brow that's not filled in and the one that is. This one just looks more of a brow and it looks more precise. Obviously you can see here it's nice and shaped, gives the eye a bit of height, and this one here just needs to really be brushed out and tamed. I'm going to keep you zoomed in because I'm going to work on my eyes next, and this is the beautiful new palette from Anika Cosmetics. They actually sent me this palette to try out, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the shade range. First I'm going to use their concealer in shade Light just to prep my eyelids, and I like to do this on the Wet n Wild P25 stippling brush. It's just a really small stippling brush, perfect for smoothing out the concealer, or you could use your finger. Even though this is their light shade, it's still quite tan to be honest, but as it's a base for the eyeshadow I'm not too worried about the colour, whereas if I was using it for under the eye highlighter I wouldn't be using this shade. As I say, even though it's the lightest shade that Anika make in their concealer range. Over on Instagram I asked for some of you to give me assumptions of what you think about me. These were really funny. I have them saved here somewhere, and I just wanted to kind of get a vibe of what people thought, because social media can be so presumptuous with how we live our lives, and it all looks very glamorous online. So, and some people were really nice. Somebody wrote, "You are generally a really happy-go-lucky, positive person, am I right?" And you are right. I always try to look on the bright side of life. I am always laughing. I'm generally a very bubbly person. It doesn't mean that I don't have down days and don't get frustrated and use my sort of passionate responses about veganism to come across on social media a little bit bitchy or sarcastically. But yeah, generally I'm a very, very happy person. I'm going to keep thinking about a few of these and ways to answer while I do my makeup in this chatty get ready with me. On the Designer Brands Deluxe Crease Brush, I'm going to go into the shade Dahlia in this beautiful palette. I'm going to layer that right in my crease. I love that shade. It is a very similar shade to the shade that I have been using non-stop in the Designer Brands palette, which is funny because both Designer Brands and Anika Cosmetics are made by the same people. The current favourite of mine. This is the palette that I was talking about. It's the Day to Night palette, and I'm not sure you can get it anymore, but I absolutely love this shade here. You can see I've hit pan. It is called Wine Time, and that is super similar to the shade that I'm wearing now. So thank goodness I have a replacement, as that one is soon to run out. I'm going to go in to, yeah, I'm going to be daring. I'm going to go into this dark cocoa shade. It's called Chestnut, and I'm going to try and attempt like a golden bronzy smoky eye. This is a gorgeous colour. These brushes from Designer Brand are really impressing me as well. I'm just layering this colour on the outer half of my eye. As I'm not a makeup artist, my looks are always quite messy, but they come together in the end. One of the things I love about Anika Cosmetics is the fact that all of their products are organic, so I don't have any stress about putting them directly near my eyes. Just going back in with that same crease brush, not putting any extra product on it. I'm just buffing out those two colours so that they somewhat blend together. I generally only use about 3 colours as well, so I've gone with a crease colour, an outer corner colour, and then I'm going to go in with a gorgeous copper shade in the inner corner. So this was the crease colour, this is the outer corner colour, and I'm going to go into this bronze colour here. Oh, that is so pretty. All of the eyeshadow shades from Anika are really gorgeous. For years I've used their loose powder eyeshadows, which come in these little tubs. Beautiful shade range as well, which you can still get on their website. I'm going to deepen up that outer corner just one more time. And then with their eyeshadow blending brush, I am just going to slightly soften the edges of the look. These brushes, they're so nice and soft, so beautiful. Somebody said, "You're a flat earther, surely." No, I'm not. I have travelled around the world many a times. Interesting to hear your thoughts around this though. It's just something I could never get into, something I could never believe. But if this is something you believe in, I would be interested to hear more. So comment. I'm not going to worry about any eyeliner today. Instead, I'm just going to curl my lashes, and I'm going to use the Anika Long Lash Mascara, another one that I'm nearly at the end of, but I will be repurchasing this one just because I love it and I use it every day. They changed the wand, it is a lot better now. This is their newer version. I believe it comes in brown and black. See if I can show you this up close. So that's just with a couple of coats on my left eye. And I don't think there's any need for false lashes just because this one really makes them nice and long. Some other mascara brands that have organic formulas, they tend to drop down and leave little speckles of black, but this one is really good. I haven't had any experience with that. I'm going to do my foundation now. I'm going to use the Magical Moringa Primer from Lush. This one, and the consistency can be hit and miss. Today it is nice and malleable so I can actually use it properly, but other days, you know, getting towards winter it can be quite hard. It is a primer where a little goes a really long way, so I just used a swipe of it on my finger, and then I'm just going to use an older designer brand's buffing brush to just smooth that out. But I do really like this primer. I've been using it now for the last 6 months and I found it really nice, especially if you're going to purchase the Lush Slapsticks, which are the naked foundations. I'll definitely try to do a video on those soon. You'll want to purchase the primer that goes with it. So that's a Magical Moringa Primer by Lash. I'll link that one in the description box down below. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. All shades of this foundation are vegan and available at Farmers in New Zealand. I'm not going to lie, I dislike the smell of this foundation, but the finish is really beautiful. And I mixed 2 shades today, mixing Nude Ivory and Buff Bisque. I'm going to apply these with the designer brand's buffing brush that comes in the new set of theirs. Someone wrote in, I always think you look like Lana Del Rey. I'm assuming she is your muse. Thank you. That's a very big compliment. Yes, I love Lana Del Rey. She is a big inspiration to me, her and Ariana Grande. But I have loved Lana for years, and I used to wear a lot of flowers in my hair, a lot of flower and crown wreaths, and I used to wear a lot of clothing, like kind of hippie, long sleeve dresses. That's where the knee-high boots came from. I used to love wearing them and dressing up like Lana. I also have an Instagram account, like a Lana fan page, which I hardly ever post, but it's where I follow all the rest of the Lana accounts, so I'm more just mingling in the feed and watching videos of her. And the same person wrote, I think you would only date a vegan. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. This is an interesting one because my ex was not a vegan, and in the end it was a decision and part of the reason why we broke up. I think it's really hard to go out to dinner with somebody who is sitting across from you and they're eating meat, and if you're a vegan, or if you went vegan like I did because you really can't stand the animal cruelty, it's too hard to look across into a plate where there's literally death on it. It's something that you just can't forget in your brain. So it's a really good question. My answer nowadays is yeah, I only want to date a vegan because our values align, and that's really important. It's like somebody who doesn't date smokers or someone who refuses to go out with somebody who does drugs. Your values just need to align. And for me, yeah, it's too hard to see meat on a plate. I wouldn't cook meat for anyone else. I wouldn't expect anybody to cook meat for someone else if they're vegan. If you do that and you have a non-vegan partner at home, I applaud you, because I just don't know how you can do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. So it's a really great question. My answer is yes, I will only date a vegan. In saying that, I have been doing dating. I'm not dating at the moment. I'm not dating anyone. I'm just focusing on myself. I have been on a few dates and met some, you know, really nice people who have respectfully eaten vegan when we go out on a date, which is really great. And then you'll meet some people and they won't eat vegan, and then I think it's just that disconnect between, yeah, I don't want to kiss you. What are your thoughts on it? I'd love to know. Comment down below. Now that I have the job that I have. I work for Lash, obviously, but I also am the editor for the vegan magazine, and I have a copy here. Let me show you. Now that this is my job as well, it makes it really hard to date somebody who eats meat, because this is my lifestyle, this is my job. Both of my fields that I work for are directly related to being against animal testing and being in fields that work for, you know, a better future, a better environment, a better world, better treatment of animals, and all round they're both vegan jobs. And this is something that I'm super proud of. This is the first issue of the Vegan New Zealand, like newly renamed Vegan New Zealand magazine that I have put out with the Vegan Society of New Zealand. They asked me to be the editor last year, and there's so much great stuff in here. It's all about veganism, all about healthy living and being kind to animals. So this is super exciting for me to share on this channel. When I was in the UK, I picked up this Gosh concealer. So the lady at Superdrug, was it Superdrug? I think that's the name of the place where I went, was very helpful. I said to her, I don't know any of these brands here because they're all new to me. Can you help me find a concealer that is really nice and light? So you can see obviously this one is great for highlighting, but also vegan and cruelty free. She told me that the Gosh brand were cruelty free, and then they had little markings on all of their products in the shop to tell you which of their products were vegan. So I picked up this one. It is in shade Ivory. I don't really like promoting brands. I don't really like showing brands on this channel that you can't access here in New Zealand, so sorry about that, but this is the one that I'm using at the moment and I'm loving it. And this is the Wet n Wild P55 stippling brush, like a foundation brush. I just prefer this one at the moment to buff in any contour or highlighter. So I'm not really using a sponge or a beauty blender at the moment. I'm just using the brushes that I have. My older sponges probably need replacing. So I'm really enjoying the new job and title role of the vegan magazine. We changed the name. It used to be called Green for Life, but I'm really passionate about the message behind veganism and what it stands for. So it was cool that we changed the name back to vegan. And that's definitely why I took a little hiatus from this channel, because I was trying to work out how to balance both the magazine, my full-time job, and doing this channel. I'm so happy to be back. I'm going to contour. This is the Wet n Wild contouring palette. Dulce de Leche. Absolutely butchered that name. Dulce de Leche. This is powdery. Ooh. Okay. This is on the Designer Brands angled contour brush. Ooh. I always like to go right in underneath my cheekbones, right by my ear. Okay, go in with a really light hand if you're going to use this. This particular brush is a bit too wide, I personally feel, for blush. So I'm going to use the Wet n Wild P70. It's just a little bit smaller. It's a bit better for my cheeks. It fits my cheeks. I'm going to use this brush with the Peachy Keen blush from Anika. Always with powder blushes, I like to use a tiny bit in the lid and then put my brush in there. By putting my brush straight into the product, I would lift way too much product up. And I was always taught by my mum to smile when you put blush on. I don't do the rosy part of my cheek here, right at the front. I like to smile and lift the blush back towards that contour. I'm going to use two different highlighters, the Jelly highlighter from Designer Brands and my Sleek highlighting palette in Solstice. This is a very popular one and it is vegan and cruelty free, which is cool. But the brush that comes with the Designer Brands new brush set is a fan brush. It's not that I don't like fan brush, it's just that I prefer this one from Wet n Wild. It's the P75. It's just round and tapered. I really like it with lots of hair on it. Delicious. So I'll first use this Jelly highlighter from Designer Brands. Just going to take off a tiny bit. I like to do this between my fingers and then just apply to the high points. Just going to slightly smoke out my lower lash line with what's left over on that eyeshadow brush. And another great trick with the jelly highlighter is to get a small amount on the angled brush and go into your inner corner. Somebody wrote, "You secretly have a meat-only diet." You got me. Never had a vegetable in my life. Somebody asks me about my Lush page. So I also have another Instagram which is dedicated to the factory where I work in Lash. And somebody says, Lush censors what you can and can't post. They have to sign off on posts before they can go up. This isn't true. We are allowed to post whatever we like. However, there are social media rules within Lush itself, if that makes sense. There are some controls as to what Lush says we can and can't post. Obviously, you won't post anything. Oh my god. Hello, highlighter. You wouldn't post anything that was derogatory or sexist or racist. Lush are an amazingly ethical company when it comes to treating their employees as humans, like everyone should be. And we often do amazing campaigns on things like palm oil or human rights, gay rights, anti-animal testing. So everything that we promote at Lush is very positive. Therefore, if anyone had a very negative or offensive thing on their social media, it wouldn't look good, would it? So the short answer to that is no, they don't control what we can and can't post. However, that's because mine is more like just my own personal fan page for Lush and a little insight into the factory. So there are guidelines, but they don't have to sign off before I post. I have this deep coral crown liquid catsuit lip gloss slash liquid lip from Wet n Wild. So I'm going to try this. Definitely need to go in and tidy up with some concealer. I didn't mind the application. I thought that the doe wand was quite good. Completely changes the look, doesn't it? I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Maybe it's like a colour I would honestly wear for Halloween. I just think it's too dark for me. I'm going to completely change it up now, and I'm going to use a Lavash Lip Gloss from Designer Brands in this bright coral colour. That's the name of it, bright coral. This one here is the Lavash Lip Gloss by Designer Brands. I just thought I'd give this one a go. Not as opaque as I had hoped for, but that's okay. It looks like you can build it up as well. Really nice. I think it complements the eye look. Hope you enjoyed this get ready with me chatty kind of video. I love this new Anika palette for obvious reasons. It's organic, cruelty-free and vegan, but really highly pigmented. All of the colours are extremely beautiful. I love the new brush set from Designer Brands. Really nice soft bristles, and the handles are a lot better than the last sets. All of the products that I use in today's tutorial will be linked in the description box down below. Please like this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll meet you in the comment section. We can have a chat about all things discussed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.